You know what the world needs? More Stormcast.
It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show on your screens tonight. It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show for your home delight. We're talking about Age of Sigmar and anything else that is cool. Talking about Warhammer Fantasy, it's easy to learn the rules. Andy and Remington, Andy and Remington, Andy and Remington Show.
Welcome one and all to another exciting, enthralling, enrapturing edition of the Andy and Rem Show, featuring Annie, episode 159. Stormcast are back on the menu, and as we remove the thumbnail, and we almost decided to ditch all the Stormcast talk and just have a football show tonight. As you can see, Annie was all prepared for it, but much to her disappointment, we decided we should probably talk about some of the miniatures that have just been teased or released out there.
It is worth mentioning, though, Andy. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Annie, welcome. It is worth mentioning that ever since we started the Andy and Rem show in 2014/15, Leicester City Football Club and Manchester City Football Club, mine and Andy's respective teams, have both been amazingly successful, winning titles, getting to finals, playing in Europe. So we think it's no coincidence. There's something in the air, something special. And you guys have joined us now. And that special something is going to rub off on you as well, because that's what we do.
We don't do that, but
we do.
I get what you're trying to say.
Do you know what? You guys got absolutely filthy minds. I thought there's nothing wrong with that.
Don't forget, not only is there that football-based success that ties in with the run of this show, but also GW's stock price as well. That's the big one. As soon as we started talking about their products, into the stratosphere.
That is true, and the viewership of our show has gone down, which means it's become more of an elite show. It's like a very fine wine rather than a McDonald's.
The audience now are essentially the VIP section. That's how it works. So there's the riffraff in the main club outside, but we have some like big burly fellows standing next to the rope to let them in if they've got an invitation.
Exactly, Andy. It's like an amazing jazz band, right? There'll be 30, 40 people, connoisseurs of music, sat lounging, chilling, watching utter brilliance. Or do you want to be that guy preaching in the street with a big microphone and there's thousands of people just walking by? That's the difference. That's what you get. With other shows, it's the preacher. With our shows, it's the Smoky Jazz Club.
Yes. Let's go with that. Now, I suppose we should probably start with what GW have been up to, because they did have their online Warhammer Fest, and we should point out at this stage as well that since we have Annie here, who is...
You should point out who I am for new viewers. They won't know.
They will know, but anyway, you're the... What's the best expression to use?
CEO. The CEO of Bad Squiddo Games. CEO and founder.
Yes.
How's that?
Yes.
Bad
Also,
Squiddo Games, the world's leading manufacturer of believable female miniatures. I think the Remster's having some internet issues there. You know what would be really funny? I don't think it's actually happened yet. But if he drops out of the call, that completely messes up the screen layout.
What's happening? What?
You keep being a bit glitchy. I've just realised I've plugged my internet in either, so let me know if I'm being weird and I'll plug it in.
Seems okay for now.
Hey.
So it should be pointed out at this stage that Annie is a renowned female armour expert as well, from years of research for her own model range. So you'll be well equipped to join us in this conversation tonight.
I love female miniature armour, as almost as much as I love Manchester City Football Club. Go football! Woo!
Yeah.
So, Annie, were you guys feeling very festive when the Warhammer Fest was on? Did you dress up? Did you camp out?
No.
No. It wasn't like RemCon, was it? It wasn't like an
No,
event.
not as good
like...
as that. No, I just went online and went, oh, they look cool. That's
Yeah,
kind of it.
Why do they call it a festival?
It's not quite the same when it's an online fest, is it?
Hmm.
Unless it's this show, which is a festival of non-stop entertainment.
A weekly festival.
Yeah, I mean, we've been giving GW advice for years, and they've been ignoring it, and but then using it down the line. So what I think they should have done is went to people like us and say, "What do you think of this live like fan reactions to their stuff?" Then it's a festival, isn't it? It's like a show, rather than well, all right, whatever.
Well, like any good video, we've teased you with the main event here, but we're actually going to scroll up to some other stuff first and go in the order with which they have presented it to us. So, this is the article on the Warhammer community. 4 things you need to know about the next edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar. What? Another edition? And
What?
But Remington hasn't even learned the rules to the current edition yet. Do you own the rule book to the current edition?
The rule book. I do somewhere. Yeah, I think it's in that bookshelf over there.
So
somewhere.
This could be a perfect opportunity to just pretend this edition didn't exist and start fresh and actually learn the rules and start playing again.
The rule
coinciding with being able to actually play games again.
Is this the rule book that comes with Soul Wars?
I believe so.
No.
Or do you mean the
is...
2-page rule book for Age of Sigmar?
I think the one with Soul Wars is current. The Soul Wars
so that'd be
was the
number
box.
3. Oh no, hang on. What edition is this?
I think this is going to be 3rd edition that comes out next.
Oh, okay.
So they've had different starter boxes, but it's still the same edition within that.
So apparently the Soul Wars have ended, and now comes
the
third installment of the what's happening in the realms. Basically,
there's some info about that on here. So let's have a look. First of all, the story continues. The earth-shattering narrative detailed in the Broken Realms series will soon be coming to a close as the imprisoned god Kragnos breaks free of his chains and unleashes a rampage of godly proportions upon the realm of Grrr. Following the conclusion of this 4th and final book, the story of the Mortal Realms will continue as Sigmar and the Forces of Order wrestle with the arrival of new gods, new monsters, and a surge of life across the land. So we've looked at this bad boy. Then, I'm not going to go through all this, but the Soul Wars came to an end following Nagash's defeat. So Nagash couldn't topple the Sigmarite warriors, and they're going to head out and try and reclaim some land now that it's safe. Or is it? Because we don't know who they're actually going to face in the new box set yet.
No, I've got a feeling I know what it is. I'm not going to say, but I've got a feeling.
Well, the rumours I've seen are that it's some kind of swamp-based faction.
Oh, really?
A brand new thing.
That's what I've heard. I had heard the word swamp mentioned. I don't know whether that ties into what comes in the starter box.
I think it's going to be undead. I think it's going to be
again
the skeletons, the vampire counts.
But they just had Stormcast versus Undead as the
that's true. So that's Stormcast against they had Stormcast against Khorne. They've had against Nighthaunt, and you think they're going to make a whole new faction up? I mean, you might be right. That'd be pretty cool.
It would be a way to sell the starter box, wouldn't it?
I mean, just to roll you back a little bit, you two. If you scroll up and look at Kragnos, is it Kragnos? Yes. What do you think, Annie? Do you think his head looks a bit like Andy's? That's Andy as a centaur.
No, I don't see that one.
Yes, it is. Come on, pull that face, Andy. No, not that face. Like you're roaring, like you're a demigod in the body of a centaur. There you go. I think it looks just like Andy.
A little bit.
He's not quite got my physique, unfortunately for him.
No, he's a bit smaller.
So anyway, could be a new faction. Brad says destruction it'll be, which would make sense if they're releasing a new destruction god the destruction would be in there. So
Ooh.
you're looking at either something new or what's currently in destruction.
Oh, orcs, I suppose. Right, Oryx.
And any new orc stuff.
Yeah.
For a little while.
They look a bit boring at the minute, I think. I
Mm.
mean, maybe Savage Orcs. Savage Orcs are fun, but there's not much variety.
I did see someone
Stormcast.
mention. I saw someone mention Famir as a faction.
That'd be-
No.
Yeah, they're pretty cool, but
Bit
they're just
far-fetched.
each one. They're all monstrous infantry, aren't they? So
I think someone was
I don't
just
know.
musing that would be a fun faction for
if
them
it
to
was
put more
so,
effort into.
if it was swamp creatures, what kind of animals do you get in a
Frogs.
swamp? Dogs,
Frogs.
frogs.
Yeah. Loads of frogs. And then you'd have frog cavalry, which are little frogs on top of big frogs.
Or maybe the Slan have got fed up with their lizardmen Seraphon and decided to come up with an entirely new kind of lizardy people.
You get crocodile-y things, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Snakes.
Yeah.
Gator people, says Brad.
Horse flies.
Oh, loads of horseflies.
It's probably going to be Nurgle, isn't it? It's going to be Nurgle.
Nurgle have had
that's what
so
I'm
much
saying.
love across both major
Hmm.
systems. I don't know about Nurgle.
Where did you get swamp from?
I just saw that mentioned somewhere in the online discourse. Someone definitely mentioned swamps. I don't know whether it was from an actual released source. But people are just poring over the materials that come out and looking for any clues, any kind of language or little visual clues in the backgrounds of other images.
I mean, all in all, they've teased us with a heck of a lot of stuff, and they've brought out a lot of stuff, haven't they, Annie? I mean, you know how difficult it is to not just design and manufacture a new line, but also get it out there. And it's like this. I don't know.
As me, but as Games Workshop, it's probably a lot easier.
Well,
They do have a lot of people.
Of course, of course. But then I can't. I mean, if I was just buying Age of Sigmar stuff, I could literally. There wouldn't be enough hours in the day to read the stuff and paint all the stuff. It's just ridiculous what they're bringing out. And what do you think of these guys then, Andy? They look quite athletic, don't they? At least the one with the spear does.
Well, I think these Stormcast, had the original Stormcast looked like this,
yeah.
I don't think people would have called them boring.
Yes.
Yeah, I really like them.
Even just
They're
looking
more
at them.
believable.
Yes, and they've got, even though you can't see their faces, they've got a bit more kind of character to them. You look like you can identify what their role is in the fighting force immediately.
They're more superhero like, aren't they?
I think the the original Stormcast look really good, but it just bothered me that they're just too clunky. Whereas like Space Marines and stuff, you can kind of have reasons behind that, and all they've really got to do is shoot. But especially when these come with bows and arrows and things, just like, but how do they? But this is like, oh, but are they? So are these? They're not replacing them, from what I've seen. They're also alongside it in the fluff, but a new one's going to be like that.
Is it a new chamber?
The way they usually do it with the Stormcast is they don't make anything obsolete technically, but you'd often be a fool to use some of the old stuff when the new ones are just better all round.
Well, yeah, these are really, they do look kind of badass. Even the chunkier guys still look a bit more. So believable's a bad word because obviously it's all fantasy, but more plausible.
Annie, what do you think about this as plausible? That the big guy has a 2-up saving throw.
What?
I could believe that.
That's like being a knight in the old rules. That's like being a knight, full plate armor, shield, on a horse that's barded. That got you a 2-up save, didn't it?
Sure did.
But that shield is amazing.
You know what's immediately noticeable to me? In the original batch of Stormcast, at a glance, looking at an army on the table, you'd be forgiven for getting some of the units mixed up. Visually, there wasn't that much variety in them. Even if you look at something big and fancy like the Celestant Prime, for example, if you take away the fact that he's floating on a big spiral, his armour didn't look that distinct from the rest of the Stormcast. And then they brought in Stormcast with fur on them, which were a little bit of variety. But these are clearly very distinct units that are going to have very distinct roles in the army now.
I just noticed the tiger on the chest of Big Dude, which is really cool as well.
It is awesome. There's a lot of lightning symbology as well, isn't there?
They've been they've been saving up all the Stormcast juice. They've definitely allowed it all to dribble out to the community here. However, one thing I want to know, what kind of big, ferocious, monstrous cavalry are they going to have? Because whenever there's a big monster, Stormcast are riding on them 9 times out of 10. So what kind of new beast are they going to have?
I think they should have a chariot. With this new look, I think Stormcast chariot would look really awesome.
Yes, some of these guys with the spears would look good on the back of a chariot, wouldn't they?
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, I don't know what would be pulling the chariot.
They can't be horses because there aren't horses anymore.
I don't think you could just have like 4 Griffhounds pulling it. I think they're too small.
Little dragony things, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be a winner, man.
Badass. Yeah, that'd be cool. Just go with that whole like Greeky aesthetic, which the originals were based on. But this, I definitely think this looks better.
Brad says chariot with rhinos, maybe like dragon rhinos.
Or like tank rhinos.
Yeah, but you could have a dual kit, couldn't you? You could have one that's more of a tanky chariot and one that's more of a glass cannon. That's what they call it, isn't it?
Yeah, that's how they usually do their big kits now. Anyway, usually get multiple options with it.
So these aren't heroes then. These are actual.
No, these are just unit types. But
cool.
We do have
cool.
a hero.
I thought they were heroes.
Oh, well, as far as I'm aware, these are both just units that are going to be in the new box.
Nice, and they would look good with real faces as well. I think.
Yeah.
Like that.
And as we scroll down, heroes though, we do have this.
I mean, this is awesome.
So let's not talk about the base yet. Let's just focus on the model. What's the initial reaction that you had upon seeing this?
Wow.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it?
My brain didn't immediately identify it as a Stormcast because it's not in the same shade of gold. But then obviously
the goldy silver looks really nice.
What are you saying? You prefer this colour? I do too. Or do you prefer gold?
I like the goldy silver because it's both. Like the shading's gold.
Yeah.
Hang on, I've got it on.
It's like.
Do you think they've done a gold base with a silver dry brush on top?
I don't think they dry brush at heavy metal.
They don't use Remington dusting, it's trademarked.
No. I just realised you've all got your extra screens set up for watching these, and there's me on my phone like that.
So how much of this do you think is borrowed from, is it Saint Celestine or, from 40k faction?
Definitely rings a bell.
Doesn't it?
The general look.
There's definitely some crossover between some of the 40k stuff and some of the Age of Sigmar stuff that we've seen.
The design technique, I can't remember exactly what the acronym is, but it's something like familiar but different. So it's like prime design stuff. You can't be too brand new because people get freaked out, which I feel the Stormcast originally might have been, when it was like, oh, this is too far one way, but it also can't be boring, so you need some new stuff. So if a design, so any sort of product thing, if it's got elements of the two, then that's like, oh. So it's kind of new is in the sense that it's a lady, and therefore the armor's different because it's a lady. But that pose and general look is also familiar.
It is.
And it's still Stormcast. So it's like it's not too different, but it's different enough that you go, oh, that's the spot.
Yeah.
They do have a set book of poses, definitely. It's like if you go into a hairdresser or something and flick through the book to decide which one you want, they have that with poses, definitely.
I mean, Colin Mack in the chat there has just pointed out that it looks like familiar to Sanguinus. So it's like Sanguinus and St. Celestine mixed.
I'm not au fait with all these, so I know they ring a bell, but that's it.
I think Sanguinus is the sort of blood angels.
I believe it's Sanguinius. Yes.
Sanguinius, the blood angels sort of Is it Primaris? My voice trails off and I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm not that much of an expert on 40k backstory. But
Yeah, it looks
definitely-
awesome. That would look pretty cool on your mantelpiece. But what about the base, Andy? What are you saying about the base?
The base obviously can't be standing on the ground because what hero would trouble themselves standing in the dirt? They've got to be standing on something. However,
Dangerous.
much more grounded than I expected from the big revealed hero model. Not just standing on a blade of grass, standing on actual steps.
Maybe this is another reason I like her. She's just in a classic awesome pose rather than a twist where you can't get the good angle. You know, there's what's it called, the golden angle of a model where it just looks the best. Some of them have recently got so much going on that there kind of isn't that perfect angle.
Yeah.
So I think that sort of simplicity has worked.
We found that with some of the elves, didn't we? Which one was it? Was it Teclis?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one.
where he
You
was-
when you looked at the sides, you went, oh, that's way better.
Yeah, where he's kind of dangling off the creature and it looks like he's perched on the wing weirdly.
Yeah.
So you guys saying this is a centerpiece model, or is it
Oh yeah.
more
yeah.
like a sort of a hero in the army?
It definitely looks like
Heroine.
a centerpiece to me. Not like a minor character. This is like one of the bigger characters, I would say. But not like a centerpiece in terms of like a Star Drake. But definitely an important character. Got that kind of vibe.
I think she'd look even better with a banner. She had a banner on a spear, sailing up, floating away. You know, that looked pretty
They
cool.
don't really do banners anymore, do they?
I know. I thought that. Yeah, they don't do banners. They do musicians,
anything.
sort of.
Yeah.
Whenever they do banners now, they often have the design pre-sculpted on it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no little paper bit hanging off.
No paper flapping around after a few years. It's gone a bit white round the edges. Starts
As
This is
peeling off.
resident-
awesome. What's your price
Resident
prediction? then?
female 28 mil armor expert. The armor's really cool as well. They think they've got that spot on at stylizing it to not look boring.
Yeah,
Annie,
you tell us
as the
about the
model
armor.
expert,
Tell us about the armor, and then we'll do our price predictions.
Okay. So let me zoom in again. Zooming is just me going like that.
With your expertise in this department.
Yes. So I very much like the armor. It's very easy to overdo female armor by going, how do we know it's a woman? Let's give it like weird metal boobs like that. But I understand that to make stuff look cool, you got to stylize it a little bit as well. And obviously the Man Stormcast, they've got their six packs, pecs and stuff. And I think this works really well. It's still got like the cool little side bits. She's got a bit of this 6-pack, 4-pack going on. It manages to look pretty. And obviously things have got to be practical because you're fighting and all that sort of stuff. But it's still a model and it's still fantasy, so you want it to look cool. And they've made it look cool in actually not a ridiculous way. Even comparing that with the male figures, when sometimes, you're like, how does that even work? So it's strange, unusually practical for GW, regardless of its gender.
Annie, have you seen armor like that in any cultures or?
No, because it's fantasy armor. People
they
just wear
borrowed
armor.
anything?
Like there's very few. There's a particular armor that works, so that's what people wear. But for ceremony, there's some cool ceremonial stuff. But so I get it. When you go to fantasy, you don't want to just do a standard metal breastplate. So that just looks really cool. And obviously, because you think like things like those massive weapons, a massive metal, I assume it's a lion or something on her shoulder. That's not practical, but it looks cool. So there's always a balance. But it's nice that they haven't gone for the like weird mega boobage thing, because it just always looks a bit odd. And
I mean, it would be terrifically hard for her to just even bend down, wouldn't it? Right.
No, it probably wouldn't be that bad because
think?
she's got it all in segments. It's not in one big chunk.
So, do you think the wings are real or are they ceremonial? Are they like part of her body?
Oh,
What do you think?
That's an
I
interesting
don't know
one.
the fluff.
I would, without reading it yet, I would guess that they're an actual part of her body and that she's some kind of supreme celestial being that's been blessed with actual wings.
Yeah, but are they a blessing or a curse? Imagine trying to get through a doorway.
How many doorways do you
Pull them
really need
back
to
up.
get through?
Well, they need to be big
Also,
archways.
stuff like that mighty armor. She's not going to be putting that on herself, is it? She's going to have some little Stormcast fellas
No,
doing that.
and it's good you mentioned that because I think Stormcast should have like a retinue, and it would bring them back to a more reminiscent of Bretonians, where they have
Yeah.
people, foot soldiers or peasants, basically squires.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
not all golden gods.
yeah, I think it'd be good because
I
you
get
look at
that.
the Stormcast, they don't have any equipment; they just have their weapons, don't they? And you think, well, where's your baggage train?
Mhm.
Where's the people that are going to help you out? And they could have a role in an army too.
We're at
It could
Bad
be
Squiddo
fun.
Games. We actually do cover that, and we have quite a few different peripheral people. So just so you know, plug.
Badsquiddogames.com.
Speaking of baggage trains, I'm sure you know. I'm sure you know, Annie, that the when the Romans were fighting the British, right? The baggage train. What's her name? The famous British, the famous leader of the British.
Boudica.
Boudica, yeah, Boudica's army was so vast that when the Romans were sort of filtered them, they basically pushed them back into the baggage train, and they were trapped, weren't they? The
I
baggage
did not
train.
know that. So.
Yeah, it was brutal. Some say almost 250,000 Britons were slaughtered by a force a tenth the size of that because the Romans were just, in testudo formation, grinding through the Brits who couldn't go forward and couldn't go back. It's horrific, really. So there you go. Don't know why I said all that. Baggage
Fun
trains.
fact. That's a learning fact there.
Fun fact, yes. 250,000 slaughtered. Fun fact of the day, everybody.
Well, I've got this new planner that I won't shut up about because I've custom made my own daily planner. And on it, one of the things I have to tick off is something that I learnt today. And I didn't think I'd learnt anything yet today. So now I have. So I can put that in my little journal.
No, what you were saying about the Stormcast potentially having their own little retinue of peasants, it made me think that wouldn't they have been much more interesting if instead of being these pure golden good guys basically from the sky, there was actually a bit of grey area there, and that
bad boys.
They were chosen by Sigmar, but that kind of makes them feel superior and pompous, and they like bully around these little peasants into putting in their armor. So they're supposedly they're supposedly the good guys, but in fact they're kind of crushing all the peasants under their boot as they go, and just like throwing peasants away in their droves.
Yeah,
I think that would be a good more interesting
storyline, isn't it? That's a good development to the storyline. I mean, back to Boudica though. Would you be interested in producing a line of models in that vein?
2 models of Boudica.
What about a whole army or like
you mean that? Yeah, that's sort of Celts.
I've got it
covered.
Everything covered. Bad Squiddo Games, everyone, check it out. Amazing.
That should be our tagline. We've got it covered. Unless we haven't, and just stop asking me. That's and it gets smaller and smaller with these little clauses. But I'll make it at some point, okay?
We're going to have a look.
We also have Cartomanja, the other lesser known Celt heroine. Anyway,
we'll have a look at some of the Bad Squiddo new stuff shortly.
There's more GW stuff though, isn't there, Andy?
There sure is. So, 9 of the biggest reveals from Warhammer Fest Online. Let's go down here and see what's new. So we've seen these. Had a look at the Stormcast. Then we've seen this bad boy.
They're so badass. They're 3 together, just look really good.
Kragnos with his face like a crate of rotten memories.
Should have been the leader of a Beastman army, but there you go.
Who does he go with?
Exactly. Any destruction force.
Oh.
But he should be Beastmen all day long for me.
He should be. He is like the Beastman, isn't he?
Yeah.
Then we had some lovely undead with their weird torso emerging from neck.
Yeah, this is just weird.
Oh, freaky.
I don't know if I like it. Do you like that, Annie?
I do. The vampires are my heart, though, because I started in the hobby as a child with vampires. And these latest vampires are so nice.
Even this
one? They do make me want to AOS. It's a bit weird, yeah.
Yeah, doesn't it look like cool. Someone's just kit bashed 2 things together?
A little bit, yeah. I feel, if it was 2 separate models, it would look cool.
With the vampire on the back of it, riding it on its shoulders or something.
Yeah, but I still think this is cool. Although I'm concerned that if I painted it, because obviously that's a very, very good paint job. It's a bit like, it's like a centaur, isn't it? It's like a Vargeist centaur.
Yes, and they must have had this conversation when they were designing it as well.
Yeah.
The fact that it looks that way, so they must have intended it to be like this. So it's very weird, but obviously
Cool.
also a bit cool as well.
Does it have fluff yet?
I don't know.
So is it mid-transformation or something like that?
I don't think we've seen much of the fluff on this new Undead stuff, have we?
Yeah,
A lot of it's
Authentic
been
Studio
teased.
in the chat. Welcome, new people. Welcome. Authentic says it's a great top half and great bottom, but not together.
I can imagine a big beastly head on this thing. And
Yeah, there are
it
options as well, isn't there?
Would look
There's
cool
different-
as a monster, and then this
Yeah.
vampire either riding on it or commanding it somehow.
Yeah, we got more stuff, Andy.
Sure
We
have.
covered this last week. You see.
Yeah, so we've seen this 40k stuff.
Oh.
Let's go straight past that.
What? That's cool.
Pretty cool. Isn't it?
And these popped up as well, which are Gaunt
Ooh.
Ghosts, which I believe are from a series of
These look brilliant. I
novels.
think they're wicked.
Oh, they're
man.
neat. Yeah, I like them.
So, yeah, they're cool. And then, this might be of interest to someone of a Remington disposition. So it's 40k orcs, but look what they're riding on.
Yeah, wicked, man.
Hey, I like that hairy guy in the middle. Sort of middle back.
Oh yeah, that one.
So they're kind of like savage 40k orcs, aren't they? And they've got a weird knob shaman there. He looks amazing with the crazy rasta haircut. But look at the little squig on the bottom with on the wheels.
On wheels. How are they attached?
I'm not sure. I
I
love
like
those
those wheelie guinea pigs. The
Yeah,
back
they're
leg
sick.
wheels. Yeah, they're cool though.
You haven't been blessed with a wheelie guinea pig yet.
Not yet, no. It's my dream. You can 3D print wheelchairs for guinea pigs. There's a file out there.
Just don't let the guinea pigs hear you talking like that, or they'll think you're trying to stage some kind of accident so something falls on their legs. So, oh, what a shame. I guess you'll have to have wheels now.
So, Andy, what did Warhammer Fest Day 4 bring us?
Well, it brought us this. A crab.
This is what we've
Crabs
been
and
waiting
fish.
for.
This crab
Yeah.
is the hero of Warhammer Fest.
Yeah.
It's
So
definitely.
this is-
It went viral immediately, the crab.
This is Diachasm, isn't it? This is the faction. What are they called again? Bloody
Deepkin.
Deepkin. I don't know if Deepkin. Yeah,
Come
they look a
on.
bit short. I mean, they look a bit. Is that it? You only get 5 minis.
Well, that's about what you'd normally get, isn't it? In one of these little warbands.
Well, you get 9 with the Gloomspite Git ones, don't
Well,
you?
they're tiny and pathetic.
Yeah. These are probably more elite.
They look amazing, especially the sort of gladiatorial. I don't know. I think it's a lady there at the back. She looks magnificent.
I would be really tempted to get this just for the crab, honestly.
Amazing.
It's
More
always weird
crabs.
little critters that steal the show.
Annie, do you think they should have a
crab.
critter sort of a regiment within their faction of sort of fishy, actual
Oh
fishes
yeah,
and
that
crabs
would be
and
ace.
lobsters?
Yeah, just fun creatures. Yeah.
It's a sort
Go
of
for that.
chaff, or within the
Yeah,
army.
little redirects. I haven't
Love it.
played Age of Sigmar in years, so I don't know if redirects are still a thing. I assume so.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Stormcast
Yeah.
have their Griffhounds. Goblins have got squigs. Why
Yeah,
not?
the little crab unit.
Yeah,
crab.
why not
Love
a
it.
unit full of crabs? I'd
Have
buy
they got a
it.
giant crab yet?
Yeah, sort of. Sort of. It's massive. It's not a crab though. It's like, I don't know, what do you call it? It's a giant fish.
I'm
With a
so out of the
shell.
loop.
Turtle.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh
massive
yeah, they
turtle.
do. I was trying to think, what have they got?
Yeah. Big
But-
turtle.
Crabs, definitely the way to go.
Yeah, because they've got
Really
sharks,
the-
haven't they? And they've got eels.
Yes. Oh yeah, they've got those eel riders.
Yeah, I like these. I just think it's one model short. Could just do with one more, but I might get this, because I don't have any Ideneth. I might be tempted to dip my toe in with these guys.
Ooh.
Yeah, even I, who is famously reluctant to buy anything, would be tempted this crab. So, we shall see. Then there's a book by the looks of it, so let's scroll on straight past that, and that's the end of that. Next, quick look at this that just popped up yesterday, I think. Necromunda miniature.
Oh.
What do we think of this?
seen that before.
Oh,
That's so
I haven't seen
cool.
this. Who's she with? Eshin?
Well,
Or is
let's
she?
have a look. See if we
Doesn't
can
look
find
Ashery.
Lady Credo. We don't know what happened to her in the Spire, and frankly, it's above your pay grade to care about such things. All you need to know is that she's very well armed and has a massive bounty on her head. She's also rich, so any gang that isn't hunting her, she'll be paying to protect her. There you go.
Elmoir. I
Just a
mean,
fancy character for Necromunda.
I'm not sure about the
That's
names
so
anymore.
cool.
Names are terrible in
The
the
names
new
don't
world.
roll off the tongue. That's a
They're all like Guahiron or Angulor.
Like the names of
Yeah, but you
Star
can-
Wars characters.
But she's amazing. You could
good.
fix her up to look like a vampire count, couldn't you? I suppose.
Yeah, that'd work.
What would you have to change? Really, just the robot arm and like the mechanical bits coming out at the back here.
Yeah.
What do you think of the boots, Annie? Would
They're
you wear
well
those?
cool. I could not wear them though. I can only wear very flat things.
I think they'd be
And
very
yes, they are
uncomfortable.
impractical for combat, but she gets away with it because she's cool. And it's
Absolutely.
Necromunda as well, which is ridiculous.
But
I've seen the spikes on the end as well. You could proper kick someone with that.
Well, you know,
It's
I
a
was
good leg as well. Very much like a good leg and knee on some female
she's
models.
got good legs. I
That
mean,
thigh
Annie,
is going to do some damage.
I was having a conversation with the security guard where I work today, and he used to be a bouncer in Nottingham, and he said, "I said, what's the worst thing you saw? Is it when you see ladies fighting each other?" He said, "That's bad, but what's worse? Yeah, what's worse is when a couple are fighting each other, like a male and a female are fighting each other, and then the bouncer tries to separate them, and then the woman teams up with her partner against the bouncer." And he said his friend got a stiletto in the back of his head.
Oh,
I said, that could kill a man, couldn't it? And he said, well, it almost did. So don't write
crap.
off a stiletto.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, you know what?
Yeah, that
gonna,
is just a dang cool mini.
I'm going to put that bit of advice down as
Remington's hot tip. Ooh.
there you go. It was Remington's hot tip of the week.
Watch out for the stilettos, everybody.
I love that model. That's one of my favourite models I think I've ever seen. That's how much I like it. Apart from all mine, of course, but
Well, obviously,
it's just really cool.
doesn't quite measure up to the Bad Squiddo range.
Like her hair's really cool. Like that
Well,
Renaissance-y thing going on.
What's the thing over her eyes? Because is she going to struggle to see anything?
It
on
looks
the
like
battlefield?
a very thin veil-like material. So some kind of expert painter could very easily do something with that so it looks more transparent than they've done it
Funky
here.
transparent paintings, just ridiculously good.
Yeah, I've not tried
I'm
that.
sure she's got some sort of fluff around not needing to see or something like that.
Well, it looks
Maybe.
like she's suffered a terrible injury to her left
Well,
arm
that.
because it's been replaced
Yes.
with a mechanical one.
Maybe she uses some psychic powers or something like that, or just like intuition. You know, like when people train people. I'm thinking of Luke Skywalker. When you train with, not being able to see, so you can use your
Yes,
I think all that
but
stuff.
she also has a Dr. Octopus vibe about her, doesn't she? Because she's got these.
Yeah, that tendril there.
Yeah.
I believe it's called mechanical danglage. The technical name for it.
That is it. I love that model. I'm in love with it now.
I'm going to praise
Might
the
have to get
hair.
that.
I'm going to praise the hair, by the way. I've been very critical of lots of GW hair lately, especially like the long, kind of wavy hair, where it looks like I could have sculpted it, possibly. But I do like the more elaborate hairstyles like this, with like bits of plaiting going on in them, weird patterns going on, curls. So,
Authentic says in the chat, so thanks everyone writing in the chat, it's cool. He says, or she says, her servo skull will see for her.
Yes.
that could well be the case. Well, there you go.
What's the name again? I bet you can't remember.
Lady Credo.
Yeah. Oh,
that's not too bad.
Yeah, that's a good name. I like that. My mistake. Lady Credo.
Lady Credo.
Dr. Arachnos. Here we go. I like these names better.
I just want all the clothes. It's just be a really good cosplay as well, wouldn't it? That'll happen. Someone will definitely do that.
What do you call that type of dress? Like if you go in a shop and say, I want a corset, what is it?
Steampunky.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, it's a corset. Well, corset, skirt, boots. The boots remind me of Gene Simmons boots from Kiss.
Yes.
Got a
Yeah.
similar vibe with that sort of plated bit going on.
Now then, we've looked at all the GW stuff. We've still got an action-packed show that we've got more things to look at, and at the end of the show, will be the next thrilling instalment of the Forest of Rem to look forward to as well.
Okay.
So, first of all, let's head over to the Bad Squiddo Games website. And before we start looking at this, don't forget that if you were to place an order with Bad Squiddo Games, you should probably use the code which you can find in the video description and earn yourself a free chicken with your order. So
Had a couple of those this week, so thank you very much, anyone who's been in there. Obviously can't call out your name because I follow GDPR and data protection, but you know if it's you, so thank you.
So Annie, it's been a little while since I went on your website, so apologies for that, but it looks like there's lots of new stuff. So talk us through it.
Lots of new things. My favourite new thing though is Jean de Clisson, so we should click on her.
Let's do it.
Jean de Clisson. Who's Jean de Clisson?
Well, she's a 14th century lady. Her husband was killed. She's from Brittany. Her husband was killed by the French for suspicion of treason, which we do not know if he was being treasonous or not. And she got pretty pissed off about it, really. So she sold all of their stuff, and they had quite a lot of stuff. Bought a fleet, recruited a bunch of other people that were a bit fed up with the French. This while France and England are at war, and became a pirate pretty much. So she went around land quite a bit. She raided, or pretty much held siege to one of the guys who was responsible for her husband's death, and that was a pretty grim. They left. So it was a siege. Well, siege like what's it called? Just attack on those walled cities. Left one person alive to go tell the tale to others. That was a bit of a trademark thing.
Incredible. The Spanish have a name for that. They call it revenge.
And yeah, so her and her crew just sort of sailed around for a bit, hijacking nobles that wouldn't help them out and sort of more French aristocrats types. But she didn't die horrifically, because a lot of the women that I study all seem to die horrifically. She ended up in England, married to one of our sorts, just chilled out for a bit and had a nice long life. So she did all right there.
Wow.
She got enough revenge and just went, yeah, I'm pretty cool. English dude was like,
were the English and the French at war with each other, and so maybe was that convenient for her?
Well, yeah. So originally it was her husband that was accused of treason against the French by working with the English. So again, we don't know if he did or not. So in the end, she kind of went, well, if that's what you're going to accuse us of, let's do that anyway.
I was up late last night and watching a lot of pike and shot videos about the French religious wars, and like if you look back at history, there's so much brutality. I mean, people died in the most awful pain, didn't they? Imagine being skewered by a pike.
Let's all imagine that together, shall we? Save that for the deep bath. Everyone can imagine it then.
We are lucky, we don't have to. I mean,
we've
just been told to stay at home. That's all. That's the only danger we've faced at the moment, really, isn't it? It's not touching people.
I was listening to Jesus Christ Superstar at work earlier, which is something I do quite a lot because the soundtrack's so good. And at the end of that, I ended up watching it as I was packing up, and I was thinking, yeah, crucifixion's not a very nice thing. A quote for you there, not a nice thing. And I think some places still do it. It's not legal anywhere, but it's still a thing. Like, who came up with that? Who was like, how are you gonna, we could just stab someone, or
people come up with horrific things.
The thing was, people's lifespans were really short anyway. Like, you were lucky to get past childhood, really. And even then, I think the average age in the Middle Ages was something like 30-something or 40-something, wasn't it?
Apparently that's a myth due to averages. So because so many people died young, it brought the average age down. So people didn't, so the ones that did survive, obviously the horrific childbirth, because child mortality rate was super high. The ones that did survive weren't necessarily all living to 100, but
I see.
It was higher. Yeah, fact. You've learnt a fact now.
I have. That's interesting. Do you know it's lies, and statistics, isn't it? Mm-hmm. There you go.
You know what we need?
People come here for the Stormcast, stay for the facts.
We need a little sound clip, like Annie's Fact of the Week.
We do that. That would be good.
I'll add one of those in for next time.
Yeah.
So, let's look at some other new Squiddo stuff. Because it's
So
not
yeah,
alone.
Jean de Clisson, you should buy her because she's really cool, and she's sculpted by Kev White, who's famous. So you should do that.
What do you want to
There's
look at
people who buy
next?
sculpts purely because they're sculpted by Kev, so I need to keep saying sculpted by Kev.
Wow.
Got a bit of a weird release with the rest of the stuff. So we've got Crime Slug Baggy, which you should click on, because he's been our least successful new release, and it needs some loving.
What is Crime Skull Baggy then?
It's horrific. That's why. So Baggy the Bag is the mascot of the company, as well as the Bad Squiddo. You can see him in the logo there, sort of peering over. So we have models of him in various different guises, usually based on a film character or something like that, but reimagined. So this is him as a famous crime slug.
Jabba, maybe?
Maybe you could
Okay.
say that.
Such a great
I
name, isn't it?
I
Jabba.
don't think George Lucas is going to come down on me. I'd be Disney. Oh, I'd be Mickey Mouse himself.
Uh-oh.
So yeah, this
if I
is
had a
famous.
son, I'd call him Jabba. Such a great name.
Let's hope that you don't have one there.
No sons allowed for Rem. So here we have Crime Slug Baggy, where he's amassed a large empire, and amassed a large amount of mass. And he's got his Squiddo captive there, and decided to put it in a little gold bra. And you can see his wealth there in the dice that he has on top of his head.
So
So
who sculpted this character?
This was Darren Edwards, and it was actually sculpted like 5 years ago, and it's just been something I hadn't got around to putting into production. So I was
How
like,
large
finally
is it?
done it. Sort of like that big,
Oh, wow, it's 3 inch, 4 inch.
40 centimeters. It says on the thing actually. It says on the listing under it.
Let's
I
have a
could
look at the
count.
exact
I
size.
could. if
30
I could
millimeter
use Sigma,
height.
Could be a Nurgle sort of
The,
character, couldn't it? Greater Demon of Nurgle.
My baggy miniatures aren't mass sellers. They tend to either be people who are big fans, or people who just see it and go, "That's weird. I'm gonna buy it."
Yeah.
So it's not going to be making mega bucks for me, but it's the
Something-
sort of thing that I do because I think it's funny.
Would you consider giving it as a sort of a freebie if someone ordered X amount of miniatures? Would you consider that? You get a free Crime Slug baggie.
I think they wouldn't want
order-
it.
If you order more than £200 worth of stuff, you get a free.
Well, maybe they will. I do put free things in pretty much all the orders, so
Nice, you got that in well.
that's nice.
Maybe if
yeah.
anyone puts in a massive order tonight, then they might end up
And
with
using the chicken code,
Yeah,
I
they-
will put a Crime Slug baggie in just for you.
There you go. If you want to place a massive order tonight, you could get your own Crime Slug baggie.
Wow.
Now,
What else
there's more
have we
stuff.
got?
What else would you like us to look at? I'm sure we won't
Okay,
have time
let's
to look
see.
at everything in intimate detail.
Okay. Stress. Because we've got. You click on the other baggie and Squiddos just because they're fun. So these are little ones sculpted by Ristorm, a little terrain man. Little terrain man. And they're just another little set of fun things. So we've got baggy Squiddo, it's milkshakes, the little logos, the riding the Squiddo, as one does. And yeah, again, they're just fun things. They're going to be put in as some prizes and things like that too. But
Frolicking
I like-
around.
I like doing silly stuff because I spend so long on all the like super serious historical
Yeah.
things. So I like to just have these little bits, and people like them for their kids as well. And again, they're nice as a break just between painting loads of
Yeah.
detailed things. You just get something a bit fun.
I've
Oh.
chosen that we're
Yeah.
looking at the snake.
This is a set of forest spirits that I've released. So there's quite a few of them. They're in various stages of transformation. So they are
There they are.
the memories and recollections of the forest forming
Wow.
into sort of animal form. The older they are, the more tree-like and wild they become. So the snaky there is pretty brand new, and then we go up to the stag, and there's the boar is almost all wooden by this point.
I love
they're in
the
the-
boar.
They're in the painting queue at the moment. I think once they're painted, you'll be able to see it a lot better. Because at a glance, I know they just look a bit like, well, those animals don't look a bit right. Like, yes, because that is wood. So they've got wooden leaves sort of jutting out of them.
They look
Stag's got
terrific.
little got a little nest and eggs in its antler, and there's even a little bird living in its neck.
But they kind of look. They look kind of friendly.
Yeah,
Still, in
they're
a
nice.
nice way.
Yeah,
don't they?
they're
They're like-
very friendly. If you're very lucky and you're in the woods, you may be able to glimpse one. Snakey's the hardest one to glimpse because obviously it just glides along. But if you are blessed, you will glance, you will see one, and then you'll blink and it will be gone. But if the forest is in danger, that's when they can actually be quite brutal, and
Oh,
they can
yeah.
really come and get you. So as long as you're good, they'll be nice to you.
And
They
I've
might
just
even help
seen
you out.
forest cleaning goblins.
We'll
Well,
look at
come back
those in
to
a
those.
second.
They look interesting.
But I decided I had to click on the Mushroom Topia bundle. Because anytime there's a Topia bundle on Bad Squiddo, you know there's value to be had.
Great.
So, look at the size
What?
of those mushrooms.
What a lot of mushrooms. That gets you the entire mushroom forest, which I think I've showed a while ago on the show. It's like that tall, the mushrooms. And 2 packs of little mushrooms. The mushrooms are so
There's
good.
some pictures
I
of them
love
next to other things for scale. Yep, there you go.
Oh, there's the light. Oh, look at that professional scale drawing. That's pretty
Nice.
good. They are big. And they're also they're the ones currently being painted. Painting Knights paint all of our terrain. So Carla
Annie,
from that has got them.
I could see like Gloom Spike Gits players getting these.
Yep. If only they knew about them.
Now they do.
Because I'm still trying to push out of this bubble so more people actually see our stuff. So that's why I'm always online going, please help with the shares, because people just don't know about us and keep people going, the
Yeah.
hidden gem. Like, I don't want to be a hidden gem. I want to
No.
be a big display bling gem at top of a
Look
tiara.
at that
I mean-
one. That is the beast. Look at that
Look-
mushroom.
I mean, the convention's coming back, Annie. Maybe give us a quick update. What's going on?
Yes, UK Game Expo is on, and I 100% confirmed that I am definitely there because I looked at where my stand was and went, oh yes!
Where is
I
it?
have a massive stand, UK Game Expo, Birmingham, 30th of July to the 1st of August. I'm going in full throttle. You can see how excited I've got about this. It's a huge show, really worth going to. So it's in the NEC at Birmingham. It's
Wow.
not just war games, it's very largely role play, board games, and it's my favourite show because it's just such a diverse bunch of people.
Are people coming in
There's
cosplay?
loads
Is it
going
a
on.
cosplay
There's
thing?
cosplayers, there's cosplay stands.
Amazing.
It's just like a general nerd fest, and it's
Will
wicked.
Andy and Rem be there? Maybe standing next to Bad Squiddo Games pitch?
This would
Would
be
they?
very, very good, yes.
Enticing
maybe-
people in to spend their money.
That sounds exciting, man. I suppose this will be the first chance to catch up with a lot of old school games companies for yourself, won't it, Annie? And
Yes.
designers, painters, fans, all that.
Yeah, I'm probably going to die of the socialization from having 0 to max.
It's going to be an
But it's going to be
overload.
wicked.
You're going to
Yeah,
need someone to man the store just so you can do your
yeah.
rubbing shoulders with the other stars.
I'm working this at the moment, trying to get as many people signed up to do the shifts because
Yeah.
it's a beast. Because it's 3 full days,
Wow.
and yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's going to be awesome. We've got a whole bunch of feudal Japanese stuff, angry witches. We've got their dungeon cleaning goblins.
What?
So,
Tell us about these. These look amazing.
These are, when you're in a dungeon and you're clearing the stuff, you've got to undo the traps and all this, and either you die or you complete the dungeon and then you leave. This happens a lot, but what happens to the dungeon afterwards?
Mhm.
Because it's not just your dungeon, it's not just a spent dungeon then.
Mhm.
So the dungeon goblins come and reset everything for the next explorer. So,
And some of
all
them
the
probably get
candle,
killed,
there's
don't
like,
they?
yeah, exactly. So you've got to get rid of those bodies. You've got to get the chests of gold, sort of replace the trinkets in there, shake the loot around a little bit. They might have damaged something, so you've got to fix that up. They might not be finding the way enough, so you're like, actually, I'm going to blow up that wall and give them another way through. All those candles and lanterns, they're not
I love
magical
it. So,
flames. Someone's got
Annie,
to come out, light those.
So Annie, you conceptualize this and someone design it, or do you design it and someone sculpts it? What's the process
So
here?
I came up with the theory,
Yeah.
and some sort of loose ideas. It was originally only going to be a few goblins. Ristal the sculptor, he's the one I mentioned last time. where he's got a lot going on. He's got a lot going on in his head. This is where he's watching it, and I'll get my phone beep going. But yeah, he went, oh, by the way, I've sculpted loads. He kind of went with my idea and then added some more bits, which is really cool. So definitely a collaboration. It'd be wrong of me to say that was all there.
It reminds me of a fantasy version of, there's a PC game called Viscera Cleanup Detail, where you're basically a janitor going around one of the like space stations where all the aliens have been killed. There's blood and guts everywhere that you have to clean up. Reminds me of that.
It's pretty much that. So they're just going and fixing it all up.
Have
And then
these
the
been
next
received
adventure
well?
comes.
Have people been digging in?
They've done pretty well. Again, they're another one. I hate releasing stuff without it being fully painted, but the point at the moment is we're just on a release beast thing, so
Yeah.
I might as well get them out there basically. But then they almost have like a second wave when I then go, look, they're coloured in. People go, oh, I see it now.
Yeah.
Authentic
But yeah,
says ideal for a diorama, which I agree with.
Yeah.
Also, I
Yeah,
think
they're-
they'd be good to have as, not exactly enemies as such, but if you're doing a dungeon crawl and you enter a room that's not quite ready yet and the dungeon goblins are still in there and you have to interact with them, I think that would be quite funny.
Or Sky Goblin Pirates.
Really like pushing guy. You can't quite see him as well in the picture, but he's just sort of doing this. So when I first got them, I was just making him push all sorts of stuff around the place. Just put him
Yeah.
up.
Or
So it's
War
obviously
Machine
like a
Crew.
bolder pushing guy. Yeah, they're just fun. So
Yeah.
that's what that this scenics range is a mixture of like super practical things like cargo pallets and all that, but other just fun stuff where you just want to paint something else or
Nice.
add something else into your game that's not normal, not the usual.
So let's just click on one. One more. Let's look at the Angry Witches. There you go.
Hey,
All right. Yeah. These
Almost
are
a
the,
witch
Yes.
coven, perhaps.
Yeah,
yes.
these are witches as we were brought up to know what a witch could look like, right? They're sort of
Redid their
like,
thumbnail today, and that's just made me realise that I didn't upload the new thumbnail.
these are like 17th century witches, aren't they?
Yeah. They're your classic witches,
Yeah, your
which you just
Hansel
have
and Gretel.
witches, which you have so many uses for, and none of them are armed. People are always asking for figures that aren't armed, so
Oh, why is that?
just various rules, or with like NPCs and stuff like that. They don't always have to be armed. So obviously, because most things are, when you're looking for someone that isn't, you're like, oh dang, there isn't. So just witches. I've also got some friendly witches too, if you want friendlier ones. But
Oh, this is like the witch.
been on a
Is
bit
that
of
the
a
witch from the Wizard of Oz?
yeah, they got that sort of feel to them. That just fully classic, like I'll boil your children feel. So we've been on a bit of a release beast, really. So there's all sorts of stuff. What Andy's clicking through there.
So I'm going to quick scroll down, one final look over this. And yes, head over to badsquidowgames.com to look at all this yourself. And probably accidentally click the add to basket button a few times.
Yeah.
Don't forget the code from the video description to get your chicken.
Yeah, and then if you buy a lot, Crime Slug Maggie. But yeah, if you don't know who I am and you're like, who is this Man City fan they've got along, who's a lifelong fan of Man City? Bad Squidder Games, we do a whole load of female miniatures in cool armor, a bit like that new Stormcast, even better, maybe. And also loads of fun little bits and bobs. And
Nice.
we're really cool. And I say we, and it is just me. I have a whole team of people, but the day-to-day is just me doing all of the stuff. So you should make me happy, and when we go, bing, oh, an order, how delightful. And I don't pay them or anything. I probably should to be
Pay
like
it.
on here getting free ads. Oh, Dave! Yes, so non-Squiddo commercial update. Got a new guinea pig called Dave, and he's the best. Oh, Dave. He is a rescue guinea pig who was all neglected, and his eyes were all screwed up, and all like rusted and infected and all that sort of stuff. So he's had some operations on his eye from the guinea pig rescue that found him, and he is now an Annie pig, and he's super happy, and the chilled pig. I think we've lost Ram as well.
I don't think we have. I think he was just
I know
looking
we have.
down.
He was just so intently looking at Dave. How cool is Dave though? He's so huge. I have to give him eye drops twice a day, and I'm trying to warm Andy up to the idea of doing it if I'm not about, but it doesn't seem to be working.
Here he is among his new piggy chums.
Oh, Dave. So he was so sad, but now he is happy.
All his new
So big.
friends.
And I can see him here, so. And he has loads of friends. So he was all sad, now he is happy.
Now,
So that's cool.
before we move on to the other succulents tonight, first of all, I don't think the Remster's painted anything this week because he didn't send me any pictures 3 minutes before we went live. But I did paint something recently, and I found myself with some endless spells, which I purchased because one of them is going to be used for a Kings of War project, which is very secretive at the moment. People might be able to work out which of the endless spells I'm going to use for that Kings of War project when you see that before I got to it, I painted this one first. Dun dun dun. So you can tell which set it is. By process of elimination, you can probably work out which one I'm going to use for a Kings
Andy,
of
that's
War
a great
monster.
paint job. That's better
pretty
than
good.
the DW one, I think. I love that
Don't go
pinky
crazy.
purple.
But what
Was it
I
hot
like,
and-
what I like is the blood using.
Looks very wet.
Yes. Blood for the
Was
Blood
it-
God apparently is difficult to apply in huge quantities to a flat surface, but it got there in the end.
Andy, so what was it like to paint? Was it good?
It was fun actually, this. It's got lots of edges you can pick out.
Yeah.
So, and the flat areas, like the kind of brassy bit, they're inlaid in there, so don't worry too much about putting a lot of detail on that. And all the outer bits have got edges or they've got detail, like on this.
Look nice to ink.
Yeah,
Ink and wash.
little ridges going on in this heart bit. Very nice model, and one of the other endless spells that came in that pack will be used as a Kings of War monster, possibly somehow. Let people think about what that could possibly be. So while Rem's still got some energy, I don't want to go straight into the deep bath now. We want to keep his energy up because it's time for this. Lining up the music right now as we speak. I can totally find it.
Let's just do the forest. I've only got 10 minutes.
Okay, how about this? I'll just do a version of it. In the forest of Rem, in the forest of Rem, it's a chicken and it's also a hen. What a twist. There we go. Okay, the forest of Rem. Cast your minds back, if you will, to the previous installment. Rem lad. He's been chased away from his home, worshipping Remington the Everchosen and all the evil chaos forces. The Stormcast came in, smashed things up a bit. Remlad was forced to flee through a realm gate. He ended up in the realm of beasts by choice. Once there, he encountered fleeing peasants. He encountered a wounded wyvern. And in his attempts to soothe it and to befriend it, he had both of his hands bitten off. He did eventually soothe it, and a small boy, Jimothy, gave him the equipment to attach a spike to one of his stumps, so he's now not totally useless, and they just took off into the skies on the back of the wyvern, looking for a way back, so that Remington can use his spike and his new pet to reclaim his worshipping grounds. So, Remlad, swooping around on the back of the wyvern over the realm of beasts. There are 3 points of interest, and you may wish to select one of them to explore. There is a plume of smoke coming up from a clearing in a forest. There is a tiny cottage visible atop a cliff, and there is also what appears to be a lake surrounded by some kind of creatures. You're very high up, so you can't see exactly what's going on at any of these locations, but you may wish to select one of them.
Well, I've heard that cottaging is a thing, so let's go to the cottage.
Very well.
Can wyverns breathe fire? Can they? Do
They
have a
can't
breath
breathe
weapon?
fire. They do have a venomous tail sting, which would pierce some Stormcast armor if you should make it there, if you can find a realm gate.
Well, let's head to the cottage, man.
Okay,
Maybe
I will
can-
ask
I
you
can
to
find
roll a
something for
dice,
my
though.
hand.
You're going to have to
I
roll a
will
dice
roll the
because you're
dice.
trying to steer a wyvern with no hands, essentially.
I will roll my skull dice, which last time we played, I literally rolled a 2 on every roll. So here we go. Remington, it's a 6.
Well, with consummate ease, Remington gives the wyvern a little bit of a poke with the spike on the back of the neck, guides it down onto the edge of the cliff, which could have been a dangerous place to land had you not rolled a 6, right next to this little cottage, which looks very pleasant on the outside, although there's a strange aroma emanating from within. You can even see stink lines coming out of it. Jimothy hops down from the wyvern's back, and he looks to you. Oi, what are we doing here then?
Now, the sort of baddie in me wants to just leave Jimothy there. Maybe there's like an old witch in the cottage, and we can leave Jimothy there because he's annoying.
I hope you're not saying this out loud to him.
I'm gonna say, okay, Jimothy, be a good lad and see what's in the cottage. Get some food for Papa Rem.
All right then. Jimothy toddles away. He toddles away towards the cottage, reaches out to knock on the door, but the door swings open. There's nothing but darkness inside, but being the inquisitive sort, little Jimothy enters the cottage.
Fantastic. Right, I'm just going to hop on the wyvern now and just in case there's some sort of bad creature in there, I can make a quick getaway.
As you're attempting to hop onto the wyvern, you hear a creaking sound from inside the cottage. Would you like to do anything?
See anything, Jimothy?
Only silence now. If Jimothy is in there, he is not speaking. At this point, you hear a large crack.
Ooh. Probably safe to leave this place, isn't it? I'm just gonna wait, I think.
Very well. The wuss approach. So, after a couple of minutes, Jimothy's head pops out again.
Yeah.
And he looks a little... There's something otherworldly about his expression.
Still alive, Jimothy?
Something strange about his mouth movements. And he says, "Come in. It's wonderful in here."
Seems legit.
Oh, wait. I don't know. I'm safe on the wyvern. I've just had 2 hands bitten off.
Well, what have you got to lose, really, at this point?
2 legs.
Jimothy's head pops back into the house, into the darkness again.
Oh, God. It's a trap, isn't it? Okay, let's have a look then.
Okay, you're going to emerge from the safety of the back of the wyvern and head into the cottage. I would like to roll the dice to see how you fare stepping into the darkness.
Right. On your head be it, Jimothy. Remington. Oh, cut dice. Remington. The 3.
That's fairly average, so nothing too disastrous is going to happen right now. As you step into the darkness, you can't see anything. It's completely pitch black inside the cottage. It's almost as if something is blocking the light from outside from entering. It's just a void of darkness. You step in, you hear a creak that immediately sounds familiar. The same creak that you heard when Jimothy walked in there. Thunder and lightning outside. How ominous. Anyway, as you walk into the darkness, feeling around in front of you, you hear stifled laughter from one corner of the cottage. And then a lightning flash temporarily illuminates it for just a split second. You can make out 2 figures in the corner with some kind of cauldron-like setup.
Oh, God. It's a witch coven. Hello there. Have you got anything for a poorly pair of hands?
At this point, a flame illuminates the room, and you catch sight of 2 grotesque abominations, 2 crones, one of which is holding Jimothy's severed head in its hand. You can see his bones poking out of the cooking pot.
See, that could have been me.
and they
Why
address
Remington?
Hello there, traveller. Come into my abode, do you? With this boy?
Yes, I offer him as a gift.
He was a rubbish gift.
Oh, well,
So
I'm sure-
annoying, he wouldn't stop talking in this weird accent.
I'm sure you could find a use for him now, but I have to ask a favor. Can you fix my hands and tell me how to reclaim my stolen lands by these evil golden armored warriors that Sigmar sent? I'd
Why?
appreciate that.
Why should I help you?
Well, because
How rude! You've got your shoes on as well.
I
Take
can't
your
take them.
shoes off.
I respect your wishes, but I can't take them off because of I've got severed hands.
While this conversation is going on, the other crone is approaching you with what appears to be some kind of crude tape measure.
Ah, you're measuring me up for a new set of clothing, maybe.
And as you have not fled, the crone kind of takes a couple of basic measurements, like chest, inside leg, and so on, and then shuffles back over to the other crone and says, "He's very wee, almost too wee."
Yeah. When did you become Scottish, Ethel? What are you doing?
You've always sounded this way, sister.
It's quite homely, that accent. I quite like it. I feel good here. So yeah. Well, thanks for looking after me.
At this
He's
point,
too wee. Too wee. Too wee.
you did say Ethel, didn't you?
Yes.
Ethel, at this point, heads over to the cooking pot, measures it up, and thinks for a moment, then looks back to fellow crone. Too wee, but too large for the pot. You may have to slice him up a bit.
It looks like he's got 2 legs. We chop them off, he'll fit right in the pot. My accent's changed now as well.
Ooh, very nice.
Oh God.
So are you just standing around waiting to be chopped up for the soup, or what?
Yeah, I'll say, well, have a nice day, and I'll leave you with Jimothy there.
The door slams shut behind you suddenly.
Ah, okay. Well,
There is one thing you can do for us, wee man.
Yep. What's that?
Something you can bring us.
What would you like?
I'll tell you about that in a moment. First of all, where are you going?
I told you I'm seeking revenge against people who have dominated and ravished my homeland.
But
It's
where?
me-
Where's
can't
your
remember.
homeland?
Can't remember what you called it. Is it Land
Is
of Ren?
that much to you? Come in here, ask to help your homeland, and you don't even know where it's from. Lies! This is lies. Ethel, this boy is lying.
It's a wee lie, but not too wee.
Your heart is too big, Ethel.
Mind Remington at this point is trying to find a realm gate back to the realm of Rem.
I'm trying to find a realm gate back to the realm of Rem.
Oh, the realm gate!
Yeah.
Ethel, do you think he means the realm gate?
Oh yes, we've got plenty of those.
Oh, well, if you could kindly direct me to it and maybe reforge my hands, then I could be a potent weapon.
I don't know. You don't want to go in there.
I know I
You're
don't.
too wee. Just too wee.
I am too weak, and I'm asking for help, and then I can help you in return once I reclaim my lands. Maybe I could build you a castle or a witch's grove even, and I could bring you followers and devotees to aid
I've
you in
always
your
wanted my own grove.
ceremonies. And
Should we tell him, Deirdre? Should we tell him what's in there?
I think we should just send him through.
But look how wee he is. It's
Oh,
almost
he's
too
so
wee. It'd have his
wee,
head
so
straight
wee.
off.
Maybe his strength's condensed into such a small vessel that he's quite dense with strength.
How about this? How about if he has a chicken and a hen?
chicken or a hen?
I could bring you many. It's both. I could bring you both. As many as you could fit in your pot.
What, 6?
Live ones as well. Imagine what you could do with that, right? All you got to do is just fix up my hands, and then direct me to the realm gate.
Make
and
sure
the
they're not
future is
too
yours.
wee.
No, I'll give you big ones.
Right, you come back with the chickens and the hens,
I
and
can
we'll
do
see
that,
what
but
we can do.
Can you fix my hands for me, dear ladies?
You say something, Ethel? No, I don't think you did.
Can you fix up my hands and then I can get the chickens for you?
Again, that noise. What was that noise? It wasn't the boy.
Oh, good. All right, I'll get you to chickens somehow.
All I can hear at the moment is a very distant clucking. It's a wee sound, almost too wee, like they're too far away and
Wee.
not in our pot.
If I turned into a chicken?
No.
I don't know what's going on.
I think they're hinting that you better get them
Get
some
the
chickens.
chickens.
I can't. I've got no hands.
You've got a spear hand.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. Well, where's the realm gate then? You're not telling me.
You just eat him.
Oh, God. All right. I'll leave now and try and look for some. Well, leave it there. I'll leave and then I guess I'll get the wyvern to hunt chicken. Sounds like a plan.
The door swings open. The chicken hunt is on.
Okay.
Do you have time for the chicken hunt now, or shall we save that for next week?
We'll save that for later, but I will be double crossing these witches and burning down their cottage just to prequel things.
Oh, by the way, as you emerge from the cottage, you notice that a small handbook fell out of Timothy's pocket as he was entering the cottage.
Oh, yes.
The Professional's Guide to Chicken Catching.
Well, I shall scoop that up with my stub hands, and we'll leave it there for today.
There you go. You hear cackling, the door slams shut, and you now have a goal. A goal on your quest. The realm.
It's like a side quest, isn't it, really? Who knows?
Yeah. It's a fetch quest.
Well, at least I got rid of Jimothy. That was cool.
No.
I think people liked Jimothy, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure he pops up in almost every adventure that you do, Andy. Someone called Jimothy that's like this sort of young kid. Far
Maybe.
too young to be, on a sort of X-rated 18+ adventure as the Forest of Rem.
Essentially. Now, speaking of excitement, it's time for everyone's favourite segment of the show. So, strap yourselves in. Take some deep breaths. Lean back, close your eyes, because it's time for...
Andy's Deep Bar.
Let's get that breathing going. Here we go.
While you're breathing, I'm just going to leave this call because I have to go.
No.
I have to tend to my dog.
Leave the call open. We'll listen to it while the deep bath's going on.
Okay.
So you sit back and relax. You find yourself in what can only be described as an imaginary tub. Tub filled heat, bubbles, steam, socially distant individuals around the edge joining in the relaxation. But who have we actually got around the edge this time? Well, let's have a look. You can just make out through, you can open your relaxed eyelids for just a split second. You'd make out the shadowy, also relaxed figures, people who are in the VIP section of the tub, perhaps because they bought the channel on Patreon. That would be one way to get in VIP access. But who can you see? You can see Cedar, Roshi, Tim, John, Graham, Nippleless, Eric, Brad, Barbara and Guy, all of them sitting around the tub. And as you're entering a deep, deep, deep state, deep relaxation, thoughts into your mind, almost subliminal. Feel like perhaps you should subscribe to the channel. Click links in the description to various social media sources. Join the Discord server, the Facebook group. Spend all your money on Redbubble. Support the Patreon. And what's this? Another voice can be heard from within the deep bath, equally relaxing, guiding you to another set of happy.
Oh, another voice appears. What's this? BadSquiddoGames.com on Instagram and YouTube, Facebook and Twitter and everywhere. Oh, Bad Squiddo bubbles, popping them and lovely foamy. What a bath this is.
And it's a shame there was no Steam in here, because the very complicated setup that goes into creating this show. There's a whole different template when there's 3 people on the show, meaning the Steam wasn't added to this one yet. It's too late. We are going to get Steam, we're going to get bubble animations. But unfortunately, we just can't afford them right now because there's just not quite enough patrons. If only they would all support and join in the deep bath. Pledge your heart, not just your wallet. It's time to emerge from the bath because the water has started to cool. Here we go.
Cold now.
It's time for splash of the deep bath, and Remington is back just in time to say goodbye.
You missed the bath, Rem, but
Are we still live?
Yes,
you should have said no.
just to see what his first thing would have been. First point on his post-show agenda for the audience to hear. But now we'll never know. Few people did like the video. The video did get likes a few times during the deep bath, but there are less likes than people currently viewing, which isn't acceptable.
Oh, I like it myself.
Well, there you go. That would be a good start, wouldn't it? Showing some support. Don't forget also check out Remington's channel, where there'll be guaranteed one piece of content at least once every 6 years. He's pledged to that.
It's bloody finding time, isn't it, for stuff?
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I've got so many. Spinning so many plates at the minute.
Well, if you find yourself out there spinning plates, don't forget to unload some of that plate-based stress by unwinding the Andy and Rem show basis. And if you still got one or two too many bits of crockery spinning around up there, maybe even check out Sunday Morning Coffee on the Bad Squiddo YouTube channel.
Nice.
10 o'clock every Sunday morning.
Nice. And I made the theme tune for that, by the way.
Yes, it will be on there.
The theme tune, which has totally been used.
I need to learn how to use the tech. I can't add it yet.
Can you just play it on the stereo?
Oh yeah, I could just do that. Yeah,
You know?
play it on stereo, on my phone up against it, going.
Oh no, that's horrible. Oh, you never know. It might sound alright.
It's Bad Squiddo Games.
That's right.
Anyway.
So, just lastly, is there a roadmap for when we can have some live gaming fun?
Well,
next Monday. You're allowed in our house.
Next Monday.
Yep.
I've been keeping a close eye on the current restrictions in this country, and if everything goes to plan, then all kinds of gaming should coming pretty soon.
Do you have to wear a mask still?
Nope. Not in the householdy thing. Oh no, I can't remember. Do you know what? Who knows?
It's worth looking at again.
Yeah.
Worth looking at it every day, pretty much, because it changes frequently.
Right, I've given up watching the news. I don't even watch the news anymore.
True. Right, we should wind up then.
People can look forward to that. Mr. Remington, would you like to say farewell? Your blinds are still open, but it's now dark outside.
Farewell. My blinds are still open, but it's dark outside.
Any parting words from the Annie as well?
No, go City! Go City! Woo!
Woo! And at this point, let's bring up the episode thumbnail, which doesn't have Annie in it because she was a last-minute addition. So I could
Just
have
rock up when I feel
just
like
think
it.
I could have put your face on that miniature.
I
you'd
know,
given
it's
me
just in the
another hour.
perfect as well, I know, but
Never
such is
mind.
life.
Anyway, all that remains to be said at this point, everyone, is good night out there. Whatever you.
It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show on your screens tonight. It's the Andy and Remington Steel Show for your home delight. We're talking about Age of Sigmar and anything else that is cool. Talking about Warhammer Fantasy, it's easy to learn the